Good morning. Welcome to Cause, Creating and Understanding Self-Empowerment. I like to start off like I always do. Life get better when you get better. You know, as you know, I always come out for rec early in the morning, and sometimes uh, I can run across the same guys. And so these guys, they more or less, I wouldn't say we battling for the weights or nothing. We just trying to beat the crowd. So now some of the guys are going home. So it's another crew coming out, right? And two of them came out this morning that I knew from federal prison, and we went to talking. So I said, when you gonna come on the podcast? One of them asked. I asked, and he's a very known guy, So he was like, "Oh man, I gotta be fly. So before I do it, so it made me think that I used to be that particular person, that everything had to be a certain way for me to even leave out the house. And I'm gonna tell you, right? Sometimes I don't know if this happened with people growing age that don't have incarceration in their life like I have. I became an older man while I was in prison. So in some ways, it kind of makes you out a schizophrenic. What I mean is, you still have a young mindset with an old personality. What I mean is, I find myself now, everybody will see that I still like to be coordinated and still like to be clean in spite of whether I don't spend as much money on things as I used to, meaning that I don't have as much money as I used to. In fact, I'm trying to get my bank back together again, right? Legally. So, but I still try to coordinate it. I wear a lot of caps, so I might have about 15 different colored caps to match shirts so I've been accused of still trying to dress young. But anyway, like, I remember one day I was with a guy, he got me to bring me back to the halfway house, and he had a bunch of belts in his car. I said, "What you doing with all those belts?" He said, "Oh, I just bought them, man. The guy was selling them for $100. It was Gucci, and he said, "Do you want one?" I said, "Man, I ain't thinking about all that type of stuff, man." I said, "It trips me out sometimes. I walk around young people, and they got on their Gucci belts and stuff, and they got their shirt where it's like you can see it." And I mean, I was never that type of guy, but I was a guy that spent $500 on belt, $800 on sandals, and thousands of dollars on shoes. So I was that guy. But now that I have got older, I find myself thinking different, about life. Until some things that's become a reality to me that I didn't even know was going to happen. And it's kind of like a reality collision that I find myself having more integrity as I have gotten older. Not to say that I was morally bankrupt as a younger man, because, I had integrity. Now, I wouldn't say that I had a lot of decency because, I was a player in a lot of ways. And I was a bachelor for a while, so it made me eligible to, kind of like meet a lot of women. And by me having the gift of gab, I knew how to build that bridge, to them. So, but now, it's like I'm kind of like settled in my spirit, and more so than I thought I would be, And I find myself telling people about this all the time. That somehow it's like, as someone explained, it's kind of like it becomes cracks in your story, and you start seeing a shadow, and through that shadow you start seeing all the things you have stuffed away that now that you gotta face, but you face it with grace, because you know where you come from. And it's just like when you're a kid and you're growing up and you enter puberty, it's like there's a new cycle in your life that you're going through, and so you got to go through it, and that comes from trying things, experimenting things, and feeling a certain way. So sometimes that's the way it is when you enter old age. It's like you start embracing it with beauty. You start to see that, hey, my hair getting gray, so I got to accept it, you know. And you start to learn to just like the grace that you start to have with your old age. And like I said before, that, you know, God is great and he's a genius in every department. And in terms of him taking your youth and giving you old age in replace of it, you wouldn't want to trade it back because you have came to so much wisdom, you know. Wisdom that you didn't even understand that you would come into. So it's like now, while my hair is turning gray, I'm trying to turn into another person, I'm trying to accept this old age, and it's like, hey, these days, we are able to wear beards, and it kind of hide that your cheeks you lose, and it goes down to, down to your chin, it's like, and some days you come out, your neck skin isn't as tight as it was yesterday or this morning. You just start accepting it. But sometimes, it don't matter, especially when you're in a relationship with someone that love you for who you are, enjoy you, and so you start saying, man, all that stuff don't even matter anymore. I'm married, I got a wife I love, she loved me, and so it is what it is, So, but it is sometimes you forced into your reviews, that you got to review life, and you see back some of the things that you have done, and you start understanding that going forward, that you're gonna be a different person. It ain't whether you guessing it, because you have arrived at that spot where it's like there's like a soul improvement. It's not a self-improvement anymore. It's a soul improvement, and you just stay with it and just ride the wave, So as a result of it, I'm just trying to tell you how I feel, because it was a stimulus from the young guy that I was talking to just now, before I came over and decided that I was going to do a podcast. So I hope it's something I said that maybe you can enjoy.